Good morning and warm welcome to all the participants. Today we have the immense pleasure of having Professor Dr. Farooq Ahmad Aga with us. Sir is ex-Associate Director, Information and Publications, Directorate of Extension, SKUAST, Kashmir. And the topic chosen by our esteemed guest is application of indigenous technology knowledge, ITK, for sustainable agriculture. Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and also your presentation is visible. Please start, sir. And we have started recording the session. Around 78 people have already joined, and many more would be joining. They are a diverse group. It's a heterogeneous group of people which is going to join us. Please start, sir.
Well, friends, welcome you all in this session. Very important session and very interesting session, because most of us are only focusing on the modern technology, which has its own drawbacks and benefits also. So far as the agriculture profession is concerned, agriculture has evolved as first profession right from the creation of the man in this universe. When Adam was thrown out of the heaven and he was in fastes, and at that time he was nothing to take, and for going to Iftiar he was directed to sow some seeds. Some say it was wheat, some say it was barley, and he started sowing it. And by the grace of Allah, when the crop came out, and he started taking those grains at Iftiari. This background is that agriculture as a profession is very primitive, right from the history of this universe. And it was the first profession for the human beings who have, by their own intelligence, by own experiences, tried to cultivate different types of crops, fruits, and other things which were required for them. And the things he has experienced by working on these issues to get the better benefits from the land, to get the these production parameters, and by that he has acquired a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge was accumulated by the farmers, and that in other terms we are saying that this is indigenous knowledge. Basically, this is nothing. It is a systemic body of knowledge which is acquired by rural people or local people through the accumulation of the experiences, informal experiments, and ultimately understanding the environment in a given culture. Say, I will quote an example to you. If a farmer was getting injured in his field, at that time there was no first aid, no tetanus, nothing else. He was putting some of the soil, pure soil, I mean not contaminated soil like nowadays, which is full of other things. We will talk about those things afterwards. And he was putting on that injury and the blood was coagulating. This was his primitive practice, experience, that how to coagulate, how to prevent the oozing of blood in his field. And he was not having any chance to go to any hospital or anything else like nowadays. Second thing, it is a key element of social capital. The capitals are of different categories. I won't go into the details of that thing. But so far as this indigenous knowledge is concerned, this is a social capital of the poor and constitutes their assets with the efforts to gain control of their own levels. That means what I will discuss in the coming slides. If you can go right from tilling, sowing, irrigation, plant protection, nutrient management, health requirements, animal this rearing, and many other things. The farmer was doing all these things, and still in rural areas, in remote areas, he is doing those things, accumulating the knowledge and experience, and then applying it into their fields, and he is getting very good results out of that. So this indigenous knowledge has certain characters. The characters are that, like the definition of this knowledge as presented by different experts in different ways, which we will explain about them as follows. Number one, it is based on experience. Whatever our farmer has experienced in his field, he is acquiring that knowledge, for which I am insisting repeatedly. And this indigenous knowledge is the result of people's experience during many years of his working in the field. Second, it was tested during centuries by working on it. I will quote some examples here. Say, before the advent of the fertilizers, chemicals, hormones, and other things which we are utilizing in the agriculture, our farmer was making or managing his fields for the nutrient management by conserving different types of these farmyard manures, by these green manuring, by decomposition of the wastes and other things. And this thing, and our scientists during this period are still emphasizing on this thing because of the contraction, because of the diminishing attitude of the natural resources which are being thrusted nowadays, and by the problems we are facing in our soil. Our soils are sick this time, and they have lost a lot of their production capacity. So these technologies, these local technologies were definitely tested during centuries, no doubt in it. And third thing, it is compatible with the indigenous environment and culture. That means the native societies who are going for the agricultural profession have different types of climates, one thing, different types of soils, different sources of irrigation, different types of varieties, and whatever the technology will be generated by one region as per their environmental these facilities, these technologies are compatible within their vicinity and within the other factors which are related to the crops. And this is one more characteristic of this indigenous technologies. Third thing, it is dynamic and is changing. That means once upon a time, we were only growing crops to sustain our belly. Okay? But now we are doing the farming, number one, for sustaining our these nutritional requirements, and second thing, to earn much more by selling the products he has produced in his field. And by the advent of that, many varieties, high yielding varieties, many types of these planting trees, fruit trees, and these medicinal plants, and many things are coming into existence because of the dynamic needs of the farmer. So these indigenous technologies a farmer has developed, they are being changed as per the requirement they have, and these changing scenario within their own culture is developing and getting established formally. And number five, the knowledge of rural people was not technical, no doubt. This was not having any scientific background. My dear friends, I will give an example. There is no difference between a farmer's research and the research of a scientist. Only one thing, that we test or we testify our findings by taking certain technical parameters and by passing our data and observation through statistical analyses, and then coming to the conclusion whether my experiment is successful or not. But the farmer has not any technical support by which he can prove that his findings are 100% correct. But it is only experience he's gaining day by day, or he's transforming his technology to his farmer, to his and these friend farmers, or to neighbors or other things, by which his technology gets confirmed. Otherwise, no technical background, as the scientists are taking help of the different procedures to testify their hypotheses, whether their research. This knowledge was consisted of rural people's wishes. Rural people's wishes. These these technologies are consisted of were consisted of rural people's wishes, values, and preferences. That means, say, for example, beta cotton is there, or these different these tomato varieties or brinjal varieties are being developed. But there are certain values and preferences by which most of the people cannot take. As you might have read in the newspapers, most of these, when this genetic transformation by certain animal genes was done, and most of our people, as per their values and preferences, were not trying to grow such type of vegetables, although they were giving lot of these economic returns, but their preferences and wishes are different. Similarly, when you might have not such an experience, as I have worked for a pretty long time in Department of Agriculture also, and in university also, when we were going in the field as extension workers, and we were advising the farmers that please go for the application of different fertilizers, especially urea. We were distributing free of cost urea kits to them just to make them acquainted with this fertilizer. But the rural people, their wishes and values and preferences were coming as a hurdle in between our extension activities and the application of these fertilizers. They were saying, no, we are utilizing our own resources, so we will not go for that. It will create a lot of problems. Doubts were in their mind. But now, when the extension workers have worked so vigorously that they are this time in every state, the consumption of fertilizers has gone to such an extent that there is sometimes getting some problems. We are facing certain problems in the supply chain of the fertilizers. This is the main aim of my this point, that this knowledge is dependable on the people's wishes, values, and preferences. Similarly, the rural people's knowledge is not static. This knowledge was formed according to the people's culture, social, economic history. The history which was written by these rural people shows that their manner and activities were efficient in changing of their conditions. That means once a farmer realizes a technocrat, this is why I have devised this lecture, that once we will go for high density plantation, we will go for the intercropping, we will go for conservation agriculture and other things, until our farmer will not have a belief that I am going to be benefited by this thing. He will never accept our this technology, and he will never adopt this until we will not engage him in a beautiful way and by the compatibility of his technology with the modern technology, and then we can achieve our goal. Similarly, rural people's knowledge is not enough. This is fact, as I have already told you. Maybe the rural people are knowledgeable, but they like to know more and more. You might be very astonished because I have a lot of experience at my back. Still, in many of the areas of India, most of the farmers are not knowing the time of application of fertilizers, the time of application of these pesticides, insecticides, and dose, and the method by which they will try to apply that for the better this performance. So here it is the duty of an extension worker that he should go meet the rural people in such a way that he may find him just like in a friendly atmosphere, and so that he can accept his technology in a better way and in congenial atmosphere with his own technology. Maybe sometimes the rural people are knowledgeable, but they like to know more and more. They have the tendency. If you will say some farmer that you go for vermicompost, although little bit she was knowing, but when you will elaborate the benefits of the vermicompost or the methods by which he can prepare the vermicompost and the outcomes of that in the terms of economy, he develops a lust that I should know more and more, so that he may develop the leadership qualities in the rural areas. He may teach other fellows that this is the technology what I have generated. This is the benefit of this. How we can consume, how we can convert this dung into valuable golden fertilizer. And they want to be powerful in their discussions with political, economical, and social forces. Anytime when they have some very good knowledge, they want to apply this knowledge in their fields. Certainly, they go to planners, they have certain political links, they involve certain political leaders, they involve the planners and others by the participatory approach, that this is the thing we require. And this is possible only because of the thing that they are having a lot of lust for this knowledge. So rural people's knowledge has root on their political economy. and it is more important in political scenario, as you might be knowing the present situation or the past situation or the problems of the farmers or the benefits of the farmers, subsidies and other things. This is all a political gamut in which a farmer plays a long role, and he, as a planner, as a contributor to the political authorities, is only possible when he will be having lot of knowledge. Okay, most of the rural people are public oriented, and mostly they have a little information about many things, which is in contrast with the academic education. Say we will compare a farmer with our agriculture graduate or postgraduate or scientist. There is a lot of difference in the knowledge, in the way the delivery system of the knowledge, but the farmers have a limited knowledge, and the specialists of the universities have deep knowledge but in little fields. They have big fields with less knowledge, farmers, but the farmers, I mean, these scientists, they are mostly confined to their labs. They are mostly confined in publication of their papers in foreign journals. They are least concerned with the active problems of the farmers, where he needs lot of attention of our farmers, which so that those problems can be addressed in a nice way. Say, I will tell an example. Apple scab is a problem, especially in J&K, or the conservation of this irrigation water is a problem in Rajasthan, in MP, and other states. And if we will go for the research on irrigation aspect or quantifying the water for the particular crop, or by transforming the plant geometry so that the transpirational loss will be less, we can come to the rescue of the farmers under drought conditions and other things. Here, our specialists or the scientists have to take the feedback of their indigenous knowledge, of their experiences, and work on it and improve this indigenous knowledge in a scientific way so that they may be benefited nicely. And second thing, this system, indigenous knowledge system is holistic system. It is based on broad spectrum, broad experiences. Local people consider the other people's problems as their problem and try to solve these problems in a whole frame with using their knowledge. Say, for example, if in some particular area there will be the attack of armyworm. Now, the holistic approach of the farmers and the cooperation of the farmers is needed there. Similarly, the rodent damage in our agriculture fields, arable lands, it is at a higher rate. But if an individual farmer will go for controlling the rats, whether indigenously or with the modern technology, it is not possible him to control the rats individually, because the circumstances in which a rat lives and the nocturnal damage he does and the movement of the rats during night, which has a terrain of around about 1 kilometer. Yani if I have controlled my rat here, I have killed it in my field, the rat from other fields around 1.5 kilometer or 1 kilometer and can come to my field and he can damage my crops. So similarly, the local people have to consider these problems and they have to work together for controlling these problems. This is the thing what I was telling to you, that without the holistic approach, it is not possible for any farmer or any scientist that he may change the agricultural scenario of our country. And indigenous knowledge system combines the culture and religious beliefs. Say, for example, some people say out of their experience that if the clouds will be on eastern side, it is to them as harbinger of rain. This is one of their beliefs. And religiously, they also have the combined knowledge, as I have just now quoted about this brinjal and other things. So religious beliefs.
Excuse me, sir.
I think, sir, slides are not moving. Sir, can you end the slideshow and can you try again?
Pardon, sir, can I could not get you, sir.
Sir, we request that can you stop the slideshow and start again, because that is not visible. That has some, basically there might be bandwidth issues. Can you end the slideshow and or stop sharing again first? Can you start? Let me remove the sharing, and can you start the sharing again, like entire screen, like you did previously?
Just a minute, just a minute. I will take the microphone also so that you may be audible nicely. 1 minute, sir. Just a minute.
I have removed the presentation. You would have to.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You
Am
would
I
have to
audible
present
now?
if you're audible, but can you turn off your camera and click on present now? Turn off camera. It is Control E, Control key and E. You can turn your camera off.
1 second.
But there's a camera icon in Google Meet at the bottom. It should be red. That means camera is turned off. And if it is not, then it's using too much of bandwidth. The slideshow is not visible, or the slides were not changing.
1 second, sir.
Audio is fine.
Okay.
Can you click on present now at the bottom? And choose entire screen.
And show.
Yeah, and choose entire screen, and then click on the screen and share.
Screen, black screen, white screen, switch programs.
Yeah, you have to first go to the place where you see my face. Google Meet.
Back.
Yeah. Stop the slide show in PowerPoint. Can you and show in PowerPoint? Switch windows to switch to Google Meet tab.
1 second. Can I go extempore without this?
It would be much nicer that if we could see the presentation, because then people are able to better connect.
1 second, sir. I am trying.
Simple thing you have to do, you have to come to Google Meet and click on present now at the bottom.
Presentation कैसे बंद होगी?
Press escape.
Escape. 1 second. Press escape. Okay.
Or right click to end show. Right click, then end show. There is an end show.
Escape किया. Okay.
Presentation बंद हो गई. come to the browser where you see my face.
अभी प्रेजेंटेशन चालू है, फिर एस्केप करूं?
सर राइट क्लिक कीजिए एंड शो, राइट क्लिक एंड शो, माउस पे राइट क्लिक एंड शो.
एग्जिट, लेफ्ट, राइट क्लिक इस पे
प्रेजेंटेशन पे, एंड देयर वुड बी एन ऑप्शन कॉल्ड एज एंड शो.
just a minute, sir. Just
यस यस सर, हो गया सर.
हाँ?
स्लाइड शो खत्म. कैन यू क्लिक ऑन?
हो गया खत्म.
हाँ वो तो हो गया सर. आप क्रोम में वापस आ गए. कैन यू सी माय फेस?
ना, अभी तो मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन ही दिख रही है.
Then you need to close it. Right click and close it. And show.
Slide shorter, normal. Slide.
What do you see when you right click on the slide?
Paste, publish slide is ruler, grid and guide is layout, reset slide and
No,
forward.
do one thing. Can you press Alt and Tab key? You have ended the show, but you are in PowerPoint. Can you do Windows and D? Then all the windows would be minimized. Windows key and D together.
Windows and D.
Yeah, that minimize every window.
Okay.
Now click on the window where you have Google Meet. उस पे जाके सर आप अगेन प्रेजेंट नाउ. और अपना कैमरा बंद कीजिए सर पहले उससे, बिकॉज आई थिंक योर इंटरनेट स्पीड इज लो, दैट्स व्हाई वीडियो इट्स टू मच ऑफ बैंडविड्थ. तो उसको कैमरा आइकन है वहां पे, उस पे क्लिक करके उसको
एरिया इज विजिबल बाय मी. डॉक्टर एम राज, मतलब स्क्रीन पे जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स
आर यू एबल टू सी मी? आर यू एबल टू सी मी?
No, not you, but other participants.
या आप उस गूगल मीट विंडो में आ गए ना सर, नीचे है कैमरा आइकन, उस पे माउस लेके जाइए, वो दिखाएगा टर्न ऑफ कैमरा, तो उससे वो टर्न ऑफ हो जाएगा.
ओके,
नाउ द कैमरा इज ऑफ. तो उसी के राइट साइड पे देयर इज एन ऑप्शन कॉल्ड एज प्रेजेंट नाउ. क्लिक ऑन प्रेजेंट नाउ.
ओके,
एंड चूज एंटायर स्क्रीन.
ओके.
Once you have chosen entire screen, the screen would be displayed at the center of your screen. उस पे क्लिक करके the share button would get activated and turn to blue. उस पे क्लिक कीजिए, शेयर प्रेजेंट आपका स्क्रीन शेयर हो जाएगा. Yes.
Screen is still
हो रहा है सर. No, you stop. Is it?
Click resume or cancel your present.
Resume.
Your present.
Is anybody able to see the screen? Because I see only. Sir,
I am able to see screen, but
no, sir. Basically, the bandwidth usage at times when the video is on, due to that video, it gets consumed. So the screen was not getting shared. Everybody was complaining that we were not able to see the screen. Means your presentation. Audio was working fine.
Video was not. करूँगा. Meet is sharing your screen. Stop sharing. Now what to do? Meet.
You stopped again. Can you click on present now?
Pardon, sir?
Can you click on present now and choose entire screen again?
Present now कहाँ पर? Options में?
जहाँ पे Google Meet में आपने अभी देखा ना एरो हेड, जहाँ पे आपने टर्न ऑफ किया अपना कैमरा, उसी पे क्लिक कीजिए प्रेजेंट नाउ पे एंड चूज एंटायर स्क्रीन.
प्रेजेंट नाउ, ओके. फिर
चूज एंटायर स्क्रीन.
ओके.
उसके बाद स्क्रीन पे क्लिक.
ओके सर.
उसके बाद शेयर. यस.
ओके सर, अब आ गए आप.
इट इज शेयरिंग. आई थिंक देयर आर बैंडविड्थ इश्यूज. नेटवर्क उतना स्ट्रांग नहीं है सर. आवाज भी नहीं आ रही अभी. हेलो.
एक second, sir. I think network problem is there. फोन पे मैं करूं?
Do you have your presentation on phone? सर आप मुझे मेल भेज सकते हैं ये प्रेजेंटेशन आ गया स्क्रीन
आ गया?
हाँ हाँ
Unmute.
is everybody able to see the screen?
Unmute your presentation.
No, let's keep it as is. तो अभी आप दिख रहा है ना अभी सबको? तो let's sir go back to PPT. आप PPT पे चले जाइए. There would be a considerable amount of delay because there is a network issue. So bear with us. Sir would talk and the presentation would get displayed a bit delayed. So PowerPoint पे चले जाइए sir.
Okay, sir.
At the bottom there is PowerPoint.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Just a minute. Sorry for inconvenience.
सब कोई
There
नहीं
is
तो
participants.
अगर आप मुझे मेल भेज सकते हैं तो then I'll do it from my end.
अब तो इस वक्त मेरे
Anyway, sir, you can directly talk
Okay,
about.
sir. Let us continue. We will not waste the time. I will send all the mail so that you participants can share this.
Yes.
Nicely.
So please continue with the session and.
But this time they will cooperate with me because in JNK.
I guess so. Let me stop sharing your screen because since it's not visible properly, then you can later on share the PPT
Yes,
or
sir.
with us or via email.
Sure.
Okay, sir.
So
Continue.
we
Please
are
continue.
talking of the religious beliefs as part of indigenous knowledge, and now the indigenous knowledge system prefers the less risk to most profit and escaping the risk is important for native people. For example, a native person usually keeps some goats for possible cases such as disease of his children, and he did not expect any income of these cases. That means, in simpler way, our farmer has his own system of managing his finances, especially for the periods where he will be in trouble. Say, for example, most of the remote rural farmers are still not having any bank facility or anything else, especially the people living in hilly areas. Now they are keeping a cushion. They are rearing certain sheep or some goats or some rabbits or other animals, just keeping a financial cushion that if there will be some problem of some disease of children or the fees, school fees or anything else, he may sell out that and this commodity, I may say, also, and he
Hello.
Yeah, Majid ji.
I think he got disconnected again.
Yeah, any idea actually how much presentation is left?
Only few slides, but I think he got disconnected.
Okay. No, because anyways he is not using the screen, no. So I think he can use his mobile or something actually so that we can finish it off.
Let me call him.
Yeah, please. And meanwhile, I just would like to share with our participants that we will be having a valedictory session at 2:30 today, and we have identified few resource persons as well as few participants for giving their feedback about the training program. as well as actually very soon we will be sharing one Google form wherein actually all the participants are requested to please fill the feedback form and submit it back. Okay, it's a Google form, and I am sure everybody can do it. It's not a big, very big form actually. And then in the afternoon valedictory session, we have got Dr. V. Sudharani, who is the Director of Extension Education Institute, Hyderabad, so Southern Region, Hyderabad, and she will be the guest of honor for our valedictory session. And then we have got Dr. Randhir Singh, who is the ADG Agriculture Extension, so Assistant Director General, so from ICR in the Division of Agriculture Extension. So he will be with us as a chief guest. And then we have got the Vice Chancellor of Karnataka Veterinary University, Dr. H.D. Narayan Swamy, so who will be acting as the president of today's program. So this is actually the program for the afternoon valedictory session, and I request all the participants to please join, as well as I request all the participants to please fill up their feedback form. Majid ji, is he back? Majid ji, can you hear me? Yeah. Any other participants? Can you hear me, Dikshit? Dr. Dikshit.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Yes, we can hear.
Yeah. Okay. So, and in fact, if there are any queries, or actually if anything is there, if you want to contact some resource persons individually, we are very happy to share their mail IDs. And apart from that, I just would like to tell one more thing, that I, along with a few other participants, actually they are in a part of this group even, we are actually hosting one or two WhatsApp groups, basically for extension professionals. Somebody is interested, can please drop in their personal, WhatsApp numbers to my personal, this WhatsApp number, so that we will just take you up, because it is exclusively for the extension faculty or extension students. Okay, we are not sorry that we are not considering other people in this forum, because normally we have some other type of extension related basic discussions. That is why we have got that group separately, and if somebody is interested, some extension professionals or extension students, so we will be happy to take you there into the group. And then, and apart from that, we have, as I already told, we have got some 2 or 3 participants who will be giving their feedback. And then if you have any personal feedbacks, we are ready to take. You can just give it through the Google Forms, and you can submit it, and so that we will also see how was the training program in total. And Majid ji,
हेलो बात कर रहा हूँ सर तो करियो तपन
yeah,
की
okay.
रिफ्रेश करियो पेज तुम क्या हुई तक गो लॉगिन गो तो आयो वापस स्क्रीन आवा तो पन कैसा हां तुम आवा तो करियो अनम्यूट तुम छ म्यूट तथा छ माइक्रोफोन icon that would be red. Please change that to white. Turn on your microphone.
Yeah, he is joining. Our resource person is joining. But anyways, this is actually a new experience for all of us, because as we all know that even online things have been very new for all of us, because we are not expecting that we will be so much addicted to this online system. And the days have come, and even our system has been changing. Like we have been uh, getting addicted towards the online systems and digital tools and all that. So anyways, actually we will have to go ahead with, although there are some issues with the this basic system, but we have to uh, understand each other as well as cooperate each other and go ahead. So that is the beauty of online system, what I can say. And are there any other participants actually who just would like to have 1 or 2 words basically about their experiences about indigenous technical knowledge? Hello. Majid ji,
Sir. बोले
Join
sir.
हो गए?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
he
I'm
join?
trying to. No, he's trying to join. I think he is.
It is raining heavily and the net has some problem, I think.
No, you can just ask him actually how many slides are left over if that's the case.
Let me ask him.
Because
Let me put him through phone. दस तु सर तु करियो कथ के साथ मे कोर phone through तु ताछु खाली वनु यो. Is it audible to you, sir?
yeah, but
करियो
not
sir.
so clear. Not so clear.
No, tu करियो इथे पे कथ वन त we can directly talk from this point on.
Yeah, no, if
he can join from my phone only.
yeah, no,
Please continue, sir.
Sorry, friends, for the inconvenience because it is raining heavily here. I think there is some problem in the network. Otherwise, this was very interesting. You would have so sustainable agriculture and the extension activities, basically transmitting from system cycle source of agriculture to technological cycle system of agriculture. And lot of responsibility in agricultural extension because agriculture extension system is a vital technology transfer crossing to farmers at one hand and as crossing for referring feedback needs and agriculture issues researchers and policy makers of market. So that is obvious that extending and researching agriculture can help to sustainability through close relations with farmers, sharing their experiences, gaining their information and logical understanding of agricultural activity. Their vital needs for doing demand-based research and extension education efforts for developing agriculture process of improving the agriculture activities in a nice way and in good glamour. There, our extension workers have to prefer the indigenous knowledge of the farmer because of certain these reasons. The indigenous system is the basis of decision making at local. Okay. Since it is the result of the efforts of local people to identify their problems and to find solutions to help innovation and to experiment with them. Local people develop new technologies at the local level and benefit from indigenous communication organizations for their dissemination. The role of indigenous knowledge in collaborative activities for achieving development has surprisingly expanded in recent years. In some communities, indigenous knowledge is considered as priceless national heritage that provides opportunities for social development program and helps to identify, prioritize, and organize local interests. It is why in certain foreign countries, most of the countrymen or most of the NGOs, they are trying to have the indigenous knowledge banks, and they are trying to document these things and provide these materials to the scientists for further research. Second thing, it is providing the basic needs of the people and the sustainability or conservation of resources. Say, I will put an example and then I will wind up this lecture. You might be knowing, I will talk of Jammu and Kashmir, that once you are visiting the J&K, you are taking the water from our Dal Lake as Amrit in your hotel. But nowadays, if you will come here to Dal to enjoy, no doubt, the scenery of the Dal, but you cannot take that water, even you cannot touch that water and you will be infected there. What is that? In rural areas, you might be knowing 1 kg of this milk will cost at least 30 to 40 rupees per kg. And at the same time, if you go to buy a water bottle, that also costs 25 to 35 rupees. What is this? The water and milk, at same price. What is this? That our cells, these soils are thick. We are not in a position to give the best fertilizer use efficiency. If we were adding the 100% fertilizer, it should at least give the fertilizer use efficiency of 80 to 70%. But the data, which is times less, otherwise after showing the slide, how it has diminished and it has touched it now to 50 or 45%. What is this? Why these microorganisms, fauna within the soil, it is diminishing, and our farmers are bound to go for the application of these microorganisms in the soil. What is this? This is only that we are diminishing the resources of national resources, and we are putting our new generation in a problem. If we will not concentrate as scientists or agriculture students on these issues, we will be under a great sin that you have not transmitted the knowledge of sustainability to the farmers or the future generation. And sustainability in Indian agriculture scenario has invoked interest on indigenous technology, because this indigenous technology is conserving our resources, whether it is water, whether it is soil, whether it is solar energy, whether it is anything else. And the knowledge that has the element use of natural products to solve problems pertaining to agriculture and allied activities. Indigenous technical knowledge are based on experience often tested for a long time and for the use of local culture and environment. This is the hint I was giving to you how we have devastated our environment. And recently I have got a report from different leading hospitals that the human blood, the human milk, the milk of mother, the milk of cows, the milk of goat, that is also being contaminated. And at least roughly I may say a human being takes round about 1 gram of urea per day in the form of water, in the form of food and other things else. So why will it be the sustainability? So for this sustainability, one has to take a lot of help from the indigenous technology in subjects like crop production, livestock rearing, natural resource management, food preparation, healthcare, and many other related topics. Various aspects of agriculture and allied activities have been included in this project, such as soil, I was talking of water and nutrients, nutrient management, and crop cultivation, plant protection, farm equipment, farm power, post-harvest and post-harvest techniques, preservation and management, pasture and food management, agroforestry, biodiversity, etc., etc. And this is possible only and we have to conserve and exploit these things. The animal rearing and health care, animal product preservation and management of fisheries and fish preservation and ethnic foods and homestead, all these are encompassed under the ITK, Indigenous Technologies, provided we may have a deep sense to touch this. ITK is not a static but dynamic subject. It is exogenous knowledge and endogenous creativity. And mostly ITK is mainly qualitative in nature and tries to study needs on holistic basis, and once this will be transferred orally, traditionally to the fellow farmers, they will bring lot of things out of this, and we can also improve our this technology, research technology to a greater extent, so that the roles of ITK, like it aids in development efforts, can facilitate local people's participation. Or ITK is a valuable source of developing appropriate technology. New biological and ecological insights are there. Resource management is there. Protected areas and conservation education is there. Development of planning and environmental assessment is there. And once we will concentrate on these issues, definitely an extension worker, whether he may go through rural appraisal program, PRA, the participatory rural appraisal program, or the knowledge attitude practices. These are the parameters for the local communities for making the decision. These knowledge attitude practices, surveys are being conducted by these extension people to analyze the situational problems, to diagnose and find the alternative solution to them, and planning the course of action or evaluation and feedback. Similarly, Farmer Study Circle, FSC, they also provide an opportunity for the people to learn together whether their indigenous technology, if it will be improved in a scientific way, it will definitely create or bridge the gap between the farmers and the scientists, and also between the diminishing production and the demanding production. Surely, if we will take into consideration all the things positively. Thank you very much for patient hearing and inconvenience you have felt during the lecture. Very sorry for that, because the climatic condition here is not good. It is raining heavily. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Prakash, can you present the formal vote of thanks?
Yes.
Sir, I'm asking Dr. Prakash.
Yeah, are you taking up one or two questions?
Yeah, we can take a few questions also. If there are any queries or questions, please ask. Sir is with us. He can reply.
Yeah, we'll take one or two questions.
Okay, no problem. Are there any questions from the participants? Please ask.
Are there any questions, please? Yeah, anyways, actually there was a little bit break in the network. I think some of the participants also might have got some disconnection within the lecture also. And I think Majidji, we can just collect the PowerPoint presentation from Dr. Farooq sir, and
Yes,
we can share with the participants so that
yes,
they can.
we'll do that. We'll do that. Dr. Farooq sir will share the PPT with us, and we'll share the PPT with you.
Sure, sir.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
that will be that.
Since we do not have any, are there any questions? If we do not have any, then we can proceed to the formal vote of thanks.
Yeah, somebody has asked some question related to biopiracy in fisheries in the chat box.
So there is a question. Can you say something about biopiracy in fisheries?
Although I am not sure from fishery science, I am by profession agronomist, and as I have worked a lot in this extension, no such knowledge about the fish. But my son is there, so I will take this point, and you can jot down his email address. I will send him the full details.
I have shared your email address, sir. They can ask the question directly.
Yes. No
I've shared.
Many time, 24 hours.
Any other?
Then that I will share my 32 years experience with them, so that they may become the perfect extension the officers, and they may benefit our society at Indian level.
Thank you. Any other question?
Related to this topic,
Sir, I don't think there are any questions. Sir, Dr. Prakash, can you present the formal vote of thanks? There is one question by Victoria Devi, Dr. Victoria Devi. How to validate an ITK?
pardon, sir?
There is a question regarding validity of ITK. How do we validate ITK?
Yes. Very good point. Very nice point. Because to be very frank enough to you, certain things I have skipped because of the thing that I was taught. Number one, the methods and procedures that they will get in my presentation. So what are the technologies of ITK, so that they may come to know what is ITK. And second thing, how we will analyze or evaluate. Number one point for that is identification and collection of ITK. Okay, many authors, many scientists are trying to write books on these things. And they have to go to their rural areas, or the areas falling under their jurisdiction. They may collect first the number of ITKs they are applying, and then the methods and techniques they are doing there. Okay. Second thing, they can document the oral history. They can meet the elder people of the society and tell them that what sort of ITKs you are applying in Newton going in education. He may relate the other things. And the third thing is that Delphi method. Delphi method, they will involve there to evaluate it, and agro-ecosystem analysis. This is one of the important things to evaluate this ITK, and mapping, whether it is ecological mapping, agronomical, seasonal, spatial, and other things. They can go for evaluating, they can keep this method also. And manual discriminative analysis. That means asking farmers to discriminate practices and find rationality. Okay, this is very important point to evaluate the ITK in the farmer's field. That is manual discriminative analysis. It means that asking the farmers to discriminate practices and find rationality in their practice or in the practice of the scientist or in the technology of the scientists they are providing them. And the third thing is decision tree analysis. This is a great subject. I have not so time, but I am hinting my dear this colleague that he may take this if he is an extension worker. By decision tree analysis, they can evaluate this and use the local resource persons, local language and keywords. Then we can evaluate in a nice way and we can write a very good book on ITK, which is nowadays in demand at global level. And inshallah, I will also provide a book very soon with the help of these colleagues for ITK, is a detailed book so that you will feel interesting to read it. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any more?
Yeah. There are few questions. One of them, Dr. Arjuman Banu is asking, want information on artificial intelligence in agriculture.
Artificial intelligence, देखिए, very good question and modern question. When we need artificial intelligence in agriculture, but there is a broad spectrum which needs not less than 1.5 hours. Okay, I will simply tell them that whenever you will compare climate, when you will compare soil tests, when you will put this crop or any orchard under the crop modeling system, the computer, when you feed the computer the data, say the annual rainfall of J&K or annual rainfall of India is this much, the soil status of this is this much, the rainfall is this much. When you, or the solar intensity or the solar energy, whatever crops are utilizing during photosynthesis, then this data will be fed in your computer. Your computer gives the inferences that you may get this type of production. This is a nutshell. This is a very broad topic. Next time, inshallah, if you conduct some another training, I will speak on this. So this will predict the things that you will get this type of production. You will get less production if there will be much rain, because there is correlation between all these cropping factors like weather, like this other things. And that in nutshell, we may say this is artificial intelligence. Then that means when we are using certain apps, or when we are using certain programs, or when we are using certain models, computer models, for the agriculture purpose, and just to make a precision farming. If we have a data that this is field of, say, for example, 1 square meter, and in this 1 square meter, you need to have precision farming. You need to put your fertilizer or herbicide or anything else at this particular place. Or when you will go for analyzing the leaf analysis there, it will predict that you go for urea spray at this time, foliar spray or this thing. That is called as artificial intelligence. The data fed in the computer or different apps are through models that we can say this is interesting. Inshallah, I will give one more lecture if the chance you will get. Give me a chance. You'll enjoy that lecture. What is artificial intelligence? Any more?
There is one more for how to apply extension services for enhancing adoption of women-friendly farm machinery. How to enhance, basically how to apply extension services for enhancing adoption of women-friendly farm machinery.
See, sir, I will not tell you the academic knowledge, but I will share my own experiences, because if you go to any part of my place, my state, at least you will hear Dr. Aga is working in agriculture, okay? This is because of certain things, because an extension worker needs certain parameters when he works with the farmers. Number one, he should have control on local language. I will quote an example. Suppose I will tell that go for herbicide application butacular. Okay. For the control of panicum crescenti. Example. This is very difficult for a farmer to understand what he is telling. Or I will tell him, you go for training and pruning. Although there are certain words which are adopted by the farmers, but mostly a farmer will be interested to listen a scientist if he speaks in local dialect. Number one. Number two, he should not have the aggressive approach. If he visits a farm or if he visits a village and there will be some confrontation of ideas. Say for example, yes, your spray schedule has not worked. And fertilizers, they are duplicate, or pollination is not going on properly. You should listen. Develop the listening power before farmer. When he will cool down, he will narrate all his stories to you. Then you can reply in a nice way. One second thing. Third thing, nowadays, this is computer age. Almost most of the farmers are having phones. You can develop a direct link with the farmers. You may be astonished to see sometimes I have a problem at my home. My missus is telling that you have made this telephone, this center at home, but I never compromise in my family. Whenever any farmer calls me, I immediately respond. One thing. The second thing is the confidence of the media, whether it is publishing through the form of literature, in the form of books or these newsletters or pamphlets or anything else, or radio and TV, or in modern senses different, these YouTube channels. I am also opening within 2 or 3 days my YouTube channel will be running only for agriculture and life and light naam hai uska. So where you can get many different and astonishing things regarding the agriculture. And one extensionist like me, he can also utilize that. And third thing is, whenever he will go to any area, he will behave that he is a man of that area. He will not try to show them the officery. He will not try to show them the bombastic words of English or the dress or the anything else. He should work in comply with the farmers, then he will be a successful extension worker and he can disseminate the agriculture knowledge to the farmers in a nice way. These are certain basic typical. Any more?
Just a second. Hi sir, can we blend modern technology with ITK? That is already, I guess, addressed.
Surely.
That is already addressed.
मैं आपको एक example देता हूँ. Especially you can understand that. Once I went to Kupwara on field visit, so I saw some farmers were spraying lime for control of Sanjo scale. Okay, so I told them, what is this? And they told me that, sir, for last 2 years we are spraying this lime water on fruit trees, apple trees especially, it covers it, and the Sanjo scale is not found there. So I am not confronted, but I only told them that don't go for concentrated sprays. You kindly keep a participation today. Then there was a RCM meeting in our university, research council meeting. I raised this issue very drastically. Yeah. I told them that this is an ITK. Why don't you give them the proper dose of lime if it is workable? If it is not workable, you restrain the farmers that this is not applying this. So the feedback we are getting from the farmers, if that will be polished nicely in our lab or in the research farmers, it will prove miraculous. Sure. So we can blend. It was the ultimate aim of today's lecture. Once we have the knowledge of ITKs developed in the society. Okay, sir?
Okay, thank you. Dr. Prakash, can you provide the formal vote of thanks? Now there are no questions.
Thank you, Majid ji. So, I am audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, at the outset, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our resource person today, Dr. Farooq sir, for sharing his valuable experiences with regards to indigenous technical knowledge, and in fact, he has also given good suggestions or actually answers for the doubts of our participants. On behalf of our participants, on behalf of our organizing team, as well as on my personal behalf, I would like to thank him very much for sparing his valuable time for the participants, as well as sharing his best experiences with us. And that is, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It was great having you here as a resource person today. And then on some announcements for the participants. Yeah, some announcement for the
who wants to comment?
Yeah, if there are any queries or comments, I think you can directly write to our Farooq sir, because he will share his mail ID with you all. So that will be all great if you directly contact him if there is any query. So in continuation with that, just some announcement. I have already mentioned to our participants that we'll meet again at 2:30 with the validatory program, and
Yes.
Majid ji will be very soon sharing one Google form for that for the feedback of the participants about the 21 days training program. Please feel free and give your feedback, and if there are any other points you would like to add, we'll be very happy to get your feedback, maybe any merits or demerits, positives and negatives. So we are open to that. I request Majid ji to please circulate so that they can give it by within next 20-24 hours to us. Okay. So that's all from our side for time being. Let us all meet at 2:30 again.
Thank you, sir.
all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. Warm welcome to you people. And I invite you to come to my place and enjoy these hot days here.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Patient hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.